You know, back in the old days, there was this program called Layaway where you can go into like a store and start making payments on something, some high dollar ticket item. And once you paid that off every month, it was yours. You could take it home. That's how I bought my first deer rifle from the Marine Corps PX on Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. And it was the first, weapon that I bought that I purchased myself. It wasn't a hand-me-down. It wasn't my dad's. It wasn't anything like that. So I went and I picked out this 30-06, and I just didn't have a lot of money. And so I did the layaway program, but I needed a scope on it. And the cheaper scopes were all sold out. And so I bumped up to like this entry-level loophole scope and put that on the layaway program and had them all, put the whole package together for me and all that. Made the payments and finally got to bring it home. Ever since then, almost every rifle I've owned has had a loophole scope. In fact, I'm having a custom rifle built this year, and it's going to have the loophole Mark 5 HD scope on it. I just killed a buffalo with that scope. It's a really great product. And loophole guys, you know them. Everybody knows loophole. They've been around since like 1907. They started as like a special instrument company or something like that. But these American-made products are fantastic. Whether you're looking for a spotter, binos, a rifle scope, accessories, tripods, bipods, all that kind of stuff. You can find it all at loophole.com. And I'd really appreciate if you supported this American company that has a great American story. And I couldn't be a bigger fan of a company. And I'm so happy and thrilled that they've chosen to partner with the Western Huntsman. Thanks to Leupold, and thanks to you guys for supporting our great sponsors. I'd like to welcome Mystery Ranch as a sponsor to the Western Huntsman. This is a great product. Specifically, we're going to talk about the Mysterium line. Those packs include the Sawtooth 45, the Sawtooth 65, the Beartooth 85, and the Marshall 105, depending on what you're doing with the pack. If you from day pack to backcountry, plenty of space. I like what they wrote on the website. Between the disciplines of calculated preparation and in-the-moment focus, an intangible alchemy exists. We call it Mysterium. It is our most ambitious, tech-rich line of Mystery Ranch hunting packs constructed for the most methodical hunters. I'd agree with that. It's a great pack, guys. I really like the ventilation system. When you put it on, it's nice and tight, but you're still breathing a little bit less of that buildup between the pack and your back when you're sweating and out there packing through the mountains and whatnot. It's a super functional pack, very comfortable, very good at carrying loads. I've been using it all spring between bear and just like I do a lot of rucking to keep in shape, and it has done a phenomenal job. I've got a lot of top-of-the-line packs out there, and I've always kind of geeked out with packs, but I really do like the weight distribution and the way that it allows you multiple options as to where you're going to either carry a water bladder or one of those Contigo containers or whatever you're going to use. Really impressed. I love the ease of how everything functions on it, too. You don't need to watch a bunch of videos to figure out how to undo everything to pack a bunch of meat out. That's really important for a guy like me, I promise. I'm not super smart. So the simplicity, the comfort, the load distribution, it all makes for a wonderful backcountry hunting pack. If you are in the market, check it out at mysteryranch.com/mysterium. Those vast western landscapes provide the space for our wildlife to thrive and a place for hunters and anglers to fuel the fire that sparks their soul. In this show, we share our love of hunting, fishing, and conservation. Here, we provide the foundation to meet these threats through passion and the grit of the American outdoorsman. Welcome to the Western Huntsman Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Western Huntsman Podcast. This is Jim Huntsman, your host, coming at you from the Broken Tine studio right here in Northwest Montana and brought to you by Eastman's Hunting Journals. Wow, that's a mouthful. It's been a while since I said it. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm really happy to have you here. Excited to start kicking off kind of a new series. I did it a few years ago where it's kind of counted as a regular episode. It's not like School of September, but we're calling it September Dreams. And what I'm doing is I'm getting people that are just coming off of their elk hunts with all this, these fresh memories, things that happen, lessons learned, stories, all that kind of stuff to come out and, just share with you guys, because I think that that's a really good way to learn the best when it comes to elk hunting, especially from the guy I got on this week. So Tyler Oakes is a return guest. He was on the show a few years ago. I don't know if you guys remember a School of September where I had him and my buddy Jacob Denham on, and Tyler had this big lanyard with all these elk calls on it. And
that's right.
Yeah. And Tyler, one of the things that I've really liked about Tyler is he's just one of those guys that sneaks up on you from a sense of he just gets it done year after year after year. He's solid. He gets it done. He's not like, I don't know how to explain it. He's not running around out there looking for all this attention on him either. It's just like, oh, bam, here's another elk, and he gets it done, and he's happy to share how he does it. He's happy to, share his thoughts, what he learned, all this kind of stuff that I just think is really cool. So Tyler, I appreciate you joining me, brother. I love the decor. Looks like the front deck's coming along. How's the house build going, man?
Slowly but surely, running your own business, it takes time. You know how it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you joining me. And I guess we should back up just because, for those that don't know you, it'd be a good idea to get a little background on you. I'm going to probably ask you the story of that mule deer over your right shoulder. But because I got a big mule deer coming up in Wyoming next week. So
Nice.
I'm like I'm mule deer centric right now. Even though we're just, today is September 30th. We're just coming out of most of these elk seasons. Now, for those of you like in Montana, we still have a couple weeks of archery and there's still plenty of hunt left. So anyway, why don't you give us a little background on who you are and what you do, and we'll just take her from there, brother man.
So my name's Tyler Oakes. I'm been a hunting guide in North Idaho for 10 years, 9 or 10 years this year. I haven't done as much the last couple of years because I've been kind of wanting to go out with buddies and friends and finally start doing more for myself and getting my boys interested in it because they're 5 and I've been doing a lot of packing with them. We actually packed out a bull for our buddy the other day, packed the boys in and packed them out, had a quarter and a kid on shoulders. We were coming out of the woods.
Nice.
So they were pretty digging that, especially they both packed their rifles in there all ready to go. So
how old are your boys now?
5. They just turned 5 on the 18th.
Wow. I think they were in diapers last time I saw them, man. It's been a while.
Yeah. So they're about, yay tall now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they can help you pack. That's the way to do it.
Getting closer. But so I grew up here, lived here my whole life, North Idaho. Met Jim over with Jacob and all them. Jim actually came and helped us pack out one of Jacob's bulls. I think that was when we first hung out.
Yeah,
and we did that. We did that podcast together. So
yeah, and then you've got that fantastic turkey hunting property.
Oh, yeah.
I got to bring my daughters out, and that was a ball, man. That's one of my favorite videos I got is my daughter hitting 2 of them with one shotgun blast. Luckily, we all had tags to notch.
that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. So,
but
yeah. So, and so you're are you not guiding at all this year? Are you just kind of limited guiding? What's going on with that?
I was actually had a moose client that was supposed to be coming in this week, but I ended up passing on it because I got drawn for one of those coveted mule deer whitetail tags up here where you can hunt from August 30th through December 1st with a rifle.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got one of those, huh?
Yeah, and I got it on the second. I got it on the second draw when there was only 4 tags left.
Jeez, good for you, man. Yeah, that's a good one. Shoot, I forgot about that tag.
So I've been kind of just playing the cards right, and I think this week when there's less people in the woods, we're actually when I go set camp up for rifle elk, we're going to take off and try to go see if we can find a big buck up there.
Yeah, you going up in Unit 1 or you sticking to Unit 4?
Yeah, I'm gonna go up Unit 1. I love
Yeah.
that up there, that higher mountain stuff.
Well, that's where those big muleys are. That's for
Yeah.
sure. So you didn't hear that here, anybody. But
Hey, you worked for him up there, man.
yeah, you do. Yeah, they are not. That's why they get so big. They're just not easy to get to. And we have that same thing on the Montana side, man. You get up into those high country hills over there where I mean, there's some, it is not a rare thing to come across like a 170-inch plus buck up there. And it's just because most people are not willing to go that far. You know, you got to hike 4 miles from the trailhead just to get into the mule deer country. And then you got to keep going to find the mule deer,
Yep.
you know, and it's tough stuff.
No, I agree 100%. Most of the time, that time of year, you got a foot to 2 foot of snow and you're on, almost vertical ground.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, like I said, I appreciate you doing this. We've been threatening back and forth to get you back on the show here for like 2 years. Because you're great at this, man. You're great at the discussion, centered around elk hunting and all that. And I wanna talk about your September. Before we dive into that, I do want to share one story, because it's like fresh in my mind too. And I wanna share this quick story from guiding this year in September, because I want to talk, and I want to pick your brain on this here in just a minute, but doing things that are outside the box, outside the norm, and so I want to kind of set the stage so my buddy Rob and I, we both had a one-on-one client. So, and what that means is a lot of times as a guide, you'll get 2-on-1, and a lot of times it's like a father-son or a couple of buddies, that's a 2-on-1. But Rob and I both had one-on-one clients, week 2 of Montana season, which would be, I think, in Idaho week 3. So it started around the 13th of September. So the bulls were just on fire this week.
Oh, that's great.
They were just, I couldn't find a drainage that didn't hold a screaming bull in it. And it was just a wild week. But I don't know, come Wednesday or Thursday, we have this access to this private ranch. It's a cattle ranch down at the base of this mountain that I'd been hunting up with my hunter all week, and Rob had been up there as well. And so we had a lot of action, couldn't quite get a shot off. And so down on this private ranch, a couple of other guides had been trying to get this great big bull. And the entire herd was coming down. I mean, satellite bulls and everything. They were coming down just screaming their head off. The rancher's calling Rob up, going, "Man, you got to come and get this bull. He's driving me bananas. He's screaming from 2 a.m. until sunup, keeping us up all night long." And we're like, "Well, we've got those other 2 guides with their hunters down there. They're trying to get him." And he's like, "Well, they're not getting the job done because he's still screaming every night." So Rob goes and scopes this ranch out, and comes up with this idea, because they're coming down on this field where all these black Angus cows are hanging out, and this is where we're getting to the outside the box thing. And the other 2 guides, they were younger guides, they tried everything. They tried calling this bull and tried to use like one of those Montana elk decoys, and they tried ambushing, setting up ground blinds, setting up all sorts of different tactics, trying to get this bull down. Just couldn't quite do it. So Rob goes home and does this, takes this piece of 7/16 plywood and cuts out the shape of a cow, a moo cow, not an elk, a moo cow. Spray paints it black and puts some handles on it. So we go out there the next morning. I don't know, it's like 4:30, and that rancher was not kidding, man. This was the loudest herd I've heard in a long time. I mean, he's just screaming.
Man.
You could probably hear him in Kansas, man. He's just screaming his face off. And we're laying there, me and my hunter, we set up on the other side of this field, because we had 2 choices. These elk were either going to come towards us, or they were going to go towards the other side. But the other side was harder to get to, because you had to get through all those cows, and then the actual cow elk would spot you. Real foggy, mystic, September morning. Rob gets down there. I'm set up. We're sitting there in the dark listening to these elk bugle. And I mean, they're only 100 yards from us across this field. And Rob and his hunter get out, and they get behind his fake cow out of plywood. And this thing's, it's 7/16 plywood. It's still, it's like kind of heavy, but he hikes this thing a half a mile across this field. The elk are a little suspicious of him, but not suspicious enough to blow out.
That's
Rob
crazy.
leaves his hunter behind this pine tree and then moseys back with this plywood cutout of a moo cow and gets back to kind of a safe spot and just sits in the brush. Sun starts coming up. Those those elk make their way to head up towards the mountain. This 315 7/8 inch bull elk stops 28 yards in front of that hunter, and he puts an arrow right where he needs to, and we got that big old bull, man. I mean, it was just so awesome. It was such an awesome hunt.
I think some of those hunts are more memorable than any of the other ones.
It is, man. Just it's incredible if you can get access, especially if you've got like national forests, you've got public land on one side of this ranch, and then the actual ranch where he's got these cattle out in these fields. Those elk, they love going and rutting and stuff like that at night. You know what I mean? And so, and just thinking outside the box like that, it really got it done. It was just such a great moment in a great. I mean, my hunter, he was a little disappointed he didn't get a shot on that 315, but at the same time, he was like, I thought that it was like a fake thing that you could just sit there and hear elk bugling like this. And in fact, if you guys tune into my buddy James Nash has the Six Ranch podcast, it's one of my favorite podcasts. He just put out this episode. Let me see what it's called so I don't like call it something wrong. I was just listening to it. But James like recorded elk for an hour straight, and it is called, it's his latest one as of the date of this recording, The Sounds of September. And if you listen to that podcast and you just turn it up in your truck while you're driving, that's what it sounded like that morning, and those bulls just screaming like that, man. What a great hunt. It was a great week. That whole week was fantastic.
Well, and just as well as I do up here, you don't get too many days like that up here.
No.
And when you do, you got to cherish them, because there's maybe a week out of the whole season, you'll get days where they're acting like that.
Yeah,
and then
man.
they start being call shy, or they just start shutting up on you.
Yeah, it seemed to me that week kind of happened a week early this year. It was a little early when they were just really fired up. Now that said, it's September 30th, right? Am I saying the date? Yeah, it is. It's the 30th.
It's the last day of Idaho.
So last day for Idaho. Hopefully most of you that are listening are currently out in the woods if you haven't tagged out yet. But as of right now, they're still bugling here at home, man. Shiloh almost killed one the other night right here at home. We called him right in.
I seen that, man. I was like, oh, that is so cool.
Man, it was close, dude. He was only like 25 yards, but all he was giving her was a frontal shot, and she just was like, I'm not taking a frontal shot, Dad. And I'm like, all right, I respect you for that, actually. So
big kudos to her, for doing that, because it takes a lot of restraint.
It does.
You got a bull right there.
Yeah.
To not take bad shots. So kudos to her.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'd have a tough time. But I think, all in all, she made the right call on that. And he's not far. We called him in again last night. We just couldn't get eyes on.
Nice.
So I'm hoping he's still around. But so yeah, man. Hopefully that story inspires some that still have some hunting season left by the time you hear this. And but I want to move to you. You got a great bull, and
my hound's going off.
Oh, don't worry about it, man. I can't hear him. I can't hear him. So
oh, good.
and this is a hunting podcast, man. If the hounds are in the background, that's kind of a bonus.
Yeah.
Something's catching their attention, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that.
No, that's fine, man. No worries. So I saw a couple of clips of your bull. I've been out of service for most of this last 3 weeks or so, but I saw just a couple of clips. Why don't you kind of walk us through your hunt? I want to talk about that, and then I want maybe while you're telling the story, think about some lessons learned this season that you think would benefit other elk hunters out there, and things like that just really stand out to you, because I want these September Dreams episodes to kind of be like School of September, where people are getting a couple of key takeaways, and so you're really good at that. So walk us through your season and how this bad boy went down, man.
I'll give you a lesson learned right now. At the start of the season, I was not in it. Like I had 30, I think I got like 30 or 40 trail cameras out this season. I was all amped up, but I had messed up my knee like in June. And then I got drawn for that mule deer tag. So I was all like, oh yeah, kind of had the itch, but I didn't. And then season came, and I went up 2 days before season where I wanted to go and go find a big muley or bull. And I hiked all the way in. I packed camp in, went 4.5 miles in there. I was all amped up to try to go find a big muley and stuff. I got all the way in there to that ridge where I wanted to sit and glass from. Sat there. I'm pretty sure it was that bull there that it's one I harvested this year. Heard him bugle and blow me 2 days before season. I was like, well, that's cool. Seen mule deer sign everywhere like I was hoping to see. Picked all my stuff up, camp, hiked back the truck, and drove all the way home.
Wow.
I think I had I needed to hear and believe for myself that, like, Shelby was the reason I went back and pushed harder this year, is because she's like, I have it. I think it's that motivation at the home front that is huge. As soon as she's like, I got things around here at home, get going, go have fun. You didn't work your butt off all year
See, that's a good wife, man.
to miss hunting season that you wait for. So after that, it really got me fired back up to get out there after hearing that bull. And then I still didn't even go ahead.
Let me just ask you real quick. 2 days before season. So what was that, like August 28th? You heard him bugling on his own?
Yeah. He was out there bugling on his own. There was actually two other ones
right there. Yeah.
There's 2 other ones going too. And you think about that time, it was still 90 degrees.
Yeah,
it was hot the start of this season.
Yeah, it sure was.
But so anyways, I came home. She said, I got it. Get out there. Go have fun like you always do. You know what you're doing. I was like, all right. Well, then my buddy Wes got home from working in Alaska, and I didn't even go the first 2 days of season. I stayed at home and worked, and then my buddy Wes showed up, and we were like, all right, let's go. We got to go. I got the okay. I got the courage I needed from the wife. And then I ended up, we drove all the way up there, and then that evening parked. On the way up there, there's wildfire that had started right by where we were hunting. And we're like, oh man, should we even go? Like, it's like, oh, it's way down the canyon. Let's not even worry about it, So I was like, as we kept going up the mountain, all of a sudden there's another wildfire in front of us.
Really?
Yeah. So we're like, oh, dude, like, we're going to have to either, we get up there, like, let's just go get eyes on it and see how it's doing. If it's not getting too bad, we'll just go anyways,
Sure.
So we got up there, and it's just kind of skunking around, smoldering, and they're like, all right, it's not doing much. Wind's blowing the opposite direction too. So let's go hike out and see if we can locate them, see if they're still talking up here. Go out probably a couple miles out there, get down there, and there's just this nasty growly bull down there with about 15 cows just going nuts down there.
And what day was this? Was this opening day?
September 2nd.
September 2nd. Okay, got it.
And so he was just, all he'd do is growl at us, even though we were cow calling and bugling at him. And then up above was that bull that we ended up getting the next day. And he was up there doing the full rut, bugling, chuckling, everything, like really active that evening. But the temperature had dropped a good 30 or 40 degrees, which is why I think they were pretty active, but they didn't get active until after 6:30 at night.
Yeah.
As once it finally dropped, the sun went down behind the mountain, then they really started getting active with it. So then we waited till dark, hiked out of there, got a location on them. And we got back to the truck and we're like, should probably go up and see what that fire's doing, just to be safe. With fires, you don't want to get stuck in that back country somewheres. So we drive up where we can get an eye on it, and it's just sitting there. And all of a sudden, we see Forest Service. Oh, they're gonna kick us out of here. Like, darn it. Guy comes walking down, and he's all like, what you guys up to? It's like, oh, we've got a bull back here. We're pretty sure we can get him in the morning if you're going to grant us permission. He goes, well, it's not shut down, so you can do what you want. It's like, just be prepared that there's a active fire going on right now, and we're like, yeah. All right. So we ended up just camping there. It's the coolest thing. Got it all on film. We're sitting there camping in the main road, a big dirt area, big wildfire right in front of us at 400 yards, just watching it all night, keeping an eye on it, flaring up and everything.
Wow, man. There was a lot of wildfires when season started, man.
There was. It was pretty like, man, they're going to shut down everything if it keeps going the way it is, and
yeah.
But yeah, so we sat there all night just watching it. I mean, we're talking about going up there and cooking the smoky on that sucker if we could, but we're like, we probably shouldn't. So
probably be frowned upon.
Yeah, and so we ended up just sitting there camping, watching it, checking it every few hours while we were sleeping, and wake up at, I think it's like 3:30 that next morning, and made coffee, fire still cooking, just cool as heck seeing the flares and everything from it roasting up trees and stuff every now and then. And then so we grabbed our stuff, got in the truck, drove back down to where we take off and head in there. Got down in there, took my shortcut to the top of the ridge so we could glass everything and get an idea. And instead of being down low, we'd be up high so we could hear where all the elk are actually moving. We ended up glassing a smaller raghorn that morning and then a bunch of cows. And then the bull that harvested, he was down in the saddle below us bugling, but he only bugled probably 10 times that morning. And I'm pretty certain that he was already headed to go bed, because he never really stayed in one location. He was moving the whole time.
Was he just like randomly bugling on his own, or were you guys calling to him? Or
so he would answer to us, but it was like he would only answer when we would do certain cow calls, like, I'm over here, but I'm going this way, is what it sounded more like,
Gotcha.
If we bugled, he wouldn't even respond.
Yeah. I had a few like that. Okay, cool. Keep going.
Then we let him go. We tried figuring out, like, okay, I'm pretty sure he went over there and went and bedded in this hole, but I had two cameras up there, one on a wallow that I really wanted to go check, because the year prior to that we had I think it was 4 bulls over 300 class on that wallow. And there's also they have a great big area up there where they just got tore up from rutting, fighting, and everything. So I was like, well, let's go check those cameras, but keep the wind right, because there's generally always elk up here. Don't want to just go blaring in there and bust the whole canyon out, because that'd be bad.
Yeah.
So we ended up making a huge circle after about, I'd say, 8 o'clock that morning. Nothing talked anymore. So we just kept going, walk all the way up, got the wind right, come down on that first camera, pulled the card. I was like, I told Wes, I was like, let's get away from the card, because I've had it happen before where I have a camera up, I'm standing there right there at the camera checking it, and all of a sudden here come running in or whatever, because it's a natural crossing or a water spot or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's get back 30 yards away, or at least 25, and set up in case something comes in while we're going through pictures. As we were sitting there, I just pulled the camera up probably 10 minutes after going through it. Here comes a forked horn buck, comes running in. You hear hooves coming. Here he comes running right in, 25 yards, stands there.
Muley or whitetail?
Little whitetail.
Little whitetail.
Way up there, though, it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's kind of that. Well, and that's why I'm asking, man. And that's what's fun about hunting this country, is you never know where that. I always call it about 3,800 feet. You're going to run into both of them. But then, and so it's fun, because it can be a whitetail or a mule deer sometimes when you get up into that high country.
Well, I couldn't believe it. When I plugged in my card reader to my phone there, I just couldn't believe the the amount of pictures for just 2 months of being up there. I had over 17,000 pictures on that one camera.
Wow. And mostly elk or
Elk, muleys, whitetails, I didn't get any predators, so that was fantastic. But it was all just those coming in at least twice a day, coming through that same spot. I mean, I could not believe it.
wow, that's incredible, man.
Yeah, I put the camera up in first part of June, and by August 25th, it was dead because it took so many pictures.
Wow. Crazy. Was it on a
Yeah.
wallow?
No, that was just a big dirt area that they all mingle and hang out in that we
Yeah.
had found up there. The one below, so after we checked that one, and I totally spaced it and forgot batteries, so I never got to put batteries back in that camera up there. I walked over, we went down to the wallow and checked it, and it had, I think, like 3,000 pictures of them coming through water and wallowing. And it had four bulls on it that are in that 300 class range. Again, different ones from last year. And one of them is that guy there. He came by on the August 23rd, and we were there on the 3rd of September is when I shot him.
Just real quick, is for everybody listening that is just audio only. If you're watching the video portion, you'll see what he's pointing at, but he's sitting kind of on his front porch, and he's got some antlers behind him, and that's what he's pointing at. So
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to feel left out.
Yeah, that's good. But so as we started going through those pictures, and there's actually a really big 7 bull there that morning at 118. So that just confirmed why that bull that we were talking to that morning was done talking by 8, because they were up all night playing the rut game because he had cows in the background. So I was like, all right, well, now we know what's going on. Let's just hang out here at the wallow, because I mean, we had bulls in there pretty much every day at that wallow.
Mm-hmm.
So we just sat there and hung out all day, did the normal wallow hangout, just munching on snacks and telling wise stories when you can.
Yeah.
Try to listen for something coming in. And about 4:30 came, still didn't hear any bugles, didn't even hear any bedded bugles. That was what was surprising. Didn't he always get one to pipe off from his bed, but there wasn't even one doing that. So we ended up we decided, like, all right, about 5 o'clock, let's try to go out to the hole and go see if he's in there wanting to play the game. So we start working our way, leave the wall, start calling, working our way out, seeing if we can get him to sound off, get over to where it drops back down where we last heard him go in from the saddle. And as soon as we get over there, we both cow call at different times, but kind of close, sound like a little herd of cows walking through.
Uh-huh.
As soon as we did that, he instantly just fired up. And he was probably down the hill 300 yards from us over this little ridge. And it's like, well, let's double check, just make sure. So we hit him again, and he just instantly answered us. And I was like, all right, that bull's hot. We gave him enough time. Now he's wanting to find them cows. And this is like September 3rd. So they should be looking still. And so
it's an interesting take, man. I really want people to hear that part, that this is September 2nd, September 3rd, and you've got bulls that are already they've already gathered a harem of cows, and they're already interested in cows. And like, my theory over the years has been like, oh, I don't even use a cow call until about September 10th, and that's changed the last few years. And you're like confirming what I've been kind of working on calling wise and strategy wise. And so I really want the audience to hear that part, because dude, we'll have people call our lodge and they'll be like, well, we don't want to come that week 1. We don't think they're ready yet. They're not callable yet. They're not blah, blah, blah. Dude, September 3rd is what Tyler's talking about here. And it was actually, it was August 30th when I called in that spike on the Idaho side for my cousin Andrew this year. So, okay. All right. Keep going, man.
No, that's great, because I generally always start my calling sequences out with the cow call.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys use locator bugles, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just, in my train of thought is, if I'm a bull out there searching for cows, why would I want to hear a bull bugle? I know they're looking to see where the other bulls are, but at the same time, I've had a lot better success like August 30th through that September 6th range of getting a bull to hammer off on a cow call and then just come running at me.
Yeah. No,
So
it's a great point, man. I'm glad you said that.
that's why I generally target cow calls first. I mean, and then if I can't get them to answer, I'll do a locator bugle, and then most of the time they answer then too. But like that bull, I guess some guys aren't just listening, but that bull there was also killed on September 3rd last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
I
last
remember.
year, September 3rd. That one right there is this year, September 3rd.
That's crazy. I didn't know they were both September 3rd. I do remember last year. I remember thinking I saw you post about it, and I'm like, dang, he got one real early, man. That's awesome. And so yeah, that's him there, huh?
Uh-huh.
God, that's a great bull too, man.
So
So you start cow calling, and he's
Yeah.
answering, and he's just all hotter than a firecracker.
yeah, my buddy Wes is like, oh man, I was like, let's go. Well, right before that, he's all like, sure he's telling me how he wanted to drop down in this hole, because we haven't been in that hole, been in all the other ones besides that one. He's like, one of these times we're gonna have a reason to go in there. I look at him, I was like, well, we got our reason to go in there, dude. Let's go check it out. And so he's like, well, are you sure he's hot enough? Because I don't, it sucked to get all the way down in there. Then you have one of those bulls, which we've all had, where you get close and then they just run.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, that one's hot enough. He's wanting it. Well, as we started going down in there, we had to circle real wide to the right because our wind was getting to that iffy point where it wanted to go shift towards him. But if we stayed right enough, it was going to stay working that trajectory we were on, which was perfect. But as we were walking down in there, just making noise, snapping and popping brush, sounding like elk, he was bugling on his own to that.
Wow.
We didn't even have to cow call. He was just so in tune with just the brush popping that he was bugling that.
Were you doing that on purpose, like making as much noise as you could? Kind of describe how you do that to everybody.
It's kind of like, if you've heard elk when they're walking, their hooves kind of like thumping just real quick every now and then, just dun, dun, dun. That's kind of what we're doing, to go real quiet for a while. Then you just add that like little, like almost like a tripping motion type thing, but it sounds like elk and their hooves hitting the ground.
Sweet. Okay, cool.
So you start doing that, and then you find a stick on the way down, even if it's with your hand or just like something to smash with your foot, and you smash that. So, because elk are naturally loud. Everybody knows that, unless you get the ones that are just the stealthy ones that come sneaking in on you and then sneak out, which we've had.
Yeah, I mean, they if they want to be quiet, they can be quiet. But if they're not threatened, they don't care about being quiet, man. We got this one wallow we set hunters up on, man. You can hear them coming from 10 miles away because there's all that deadfall in there.
Yep.
And it's just snap, crackle, pop the whole way. So that's a great strategy.
So we ended up doing that, getting down there. And we got to where we thought we were about 100, 150 yards from him. And so we just let out a couple real soft cow and calf calls. And instantly, again, he just, 100 yards away, just lit right up. It's like, okay, it's right there. This looks like a decent setup. The only thing I was worried about is we had a wall of alder, and then a couple holes he could come through. Because they generally, a lot of times, they don't like coming through that stuff. But so we were like, all right, well, let's try it. And my buddy Wes went back, and he ended up going like 40 yards behind me. And this is the funny part of it. He told me before, he's like, he was pointing down on his hip. He's like, see this knife right here? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you know what that's for? I'm like, yeah, for cleaning elk. He's like, no, that's for my decoy. I'm like, what do you need a knife for your decoy for? It's like, we don't got time to use the stakes. You just stab that sucker to a tree, man.
Oh, that's a good idea, man.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not a terrible idea at all.
I was like, yeah, okay, sure, dude. And so we get down there, and he goes back. He goes, you want me to put the decoy out? And of course, we're filming this, and I'm like, sure. And, actually, it's dead quiet besides the bull over there and everything. and all you hear that sink from the knife, and then sink right in the tree, stabs it. Now look back, and sure as heck, there's that cow decoy stuck to that tree back
Wow.
there. I'm like,
Huh.
okay, that works, and so we're all set up, and the whole time Bull's bugling, he's working his way in. He gets back there. I think he maybe cow calls 3 or 4 more times, and then while he's standing there, which uh, I like to tell everyone too, like if you're calling, don't feel free to make noise while you're calling, snapping brush, moving around a little bit, as long as the bull can't see you, because then it actually gives more of that lifelike, like, okay, there's elk actually there, instead of just, why is it quiet, but there's noises coming from there.
Yeah.
And so he starts just in motion, standing in place, just taking his feet and going up and down, breaking brush, and sounding like elk are running around right there. And that bull just lost it. I mean, he come charging up the hill from where he was at, standing down there, tipped his head back, plowed through probably a 4-inch round, 6-inch round spruce tree, and come walking out right in front of me at 35 yards. Or he first come out at 37, but the huckleberry brush was so tall I couldn't shoot him because it was covering his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, I'm not going to take that shot. I don't want it to deflect my arrow, so I waited. He come out, stopped behind a tree down there at like 42 yards, ripped this great big massive bugle off, moved a little bit more, ripped another great big bugle off, and then come up to about 35 yards, which I had judged him for 38, and ended up stopping there, bugled one last time. It's the last one you can hear in the video of him. Just, that great big deep bull, big bull bugle. And he stepped, I was like, all right, 3 steps. He comes out. I shot. Well, I hit him high, and I was like, oh no, thinking I hit him in the no zone.
Mm-hmm.
And he whirled, went flying down the hill. And the whole time I'm sitting there worried, but of course we start cow calling right away just to be safe. And I'm like thinking, oh man, it's high, it's high. He goes running down there, stops at 30 yards below us. And all of a sudden you can just hear loud crashing. I'm like, maybe he's down, I'm not quite sure. And then a few seconds later you hear
just crashes.
Oh man, he just 50 yards down the hill, he tipped over, out.
Was he coughing?
No, he wasn't coughing, wasn't doing nothing, but I thought maybe he had ran a little bit, and or he took off, because I've had it with clients before where they, you saying hi, Hunter?
Hey, Hunter. The twins are out. Hey, buddy. Man, he is getting big.
Yeah. And I thought maybe because he just disappeared because it was so thick that he was gone. And maybe because I thought the shot was high because it hit him high, that he had just maybe took off down the hill a long ways what the noise was. But it sounded like elk falling. So we were kind of, Wes come over, and I'm like, dude, I'm not sure. It looked high, great left and right, everything else, but it was high. I was like, well, let's give him a couple hours. And Wes ended up talking me into, he's like, well, let's go at least look for showing you his excavator. He's like, well, let's go, at least go look for your arrow. So we say, all right, we went down there after about 45 minutes and went and looked for my arrow. Well, within 2 feet, there was lung blood already.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, all right, let's go further. We got blood like that. Let's keep going. And so we keep going down a little bit. I kind of got off the trail, and I was like, well, I think he went more to the left. I was like, Wes, why don't you go back up where you seen last blood, buddy? Head off that way to the left, and I'll stay on the right, just trying to pick it up, because it's like, I shouldn't have ran out of blood that quick unless it was a bad shot, which that was in my head, that it was too high. And so I start searching around. Wes over next thing, Wes is whistling at me, so I come up. I was like, hey, did you find blood? And he's like, yeah, I got blood. So I go up there. I'm like, sweet. So we're back on the trail. my emotions of, oh, I hit him high, I wounded this thing, went like, okay, we got more blood, we're good to go, because that always hurts when you think it's not good.
Oh man. Yeah.
You've been there. And
Oh yeah.
so I get up there and I'm like, he's like, yeah, right here. I look, I'm like, sweet, I can start tracking it from there. And I kind of look back at him, which Jacob did this to me when I shot my first spike with my bow a long time ago. And he's just sitting there smirking, grinning like crazy. And I look down past him, like, you see him, look down past her. He's piled up there 50 yards. The whole distance was 50 yards from where I shot him, but he was piled up there. Just you see great big old brows sticking out of the alders down there.
Wow.
I'm just like, oh, you dirty guys playing tricks on me, being colorblind and stuff. It's harder for me to see blood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
I'll bet that is harder for you for sure.
Yeah.
You need one of those CSI lights that pick up the blood.
But so then after that, the emotions were completely gone, and we were all just on cloud nine, because it was a good, true, mature bull, not one of those little ones. So
did you put tape to it, and you got a rough score on him or at all, or?
Yeah, he's right at like 310-ish, I think.
Yeah, it's a great bull. I'm looking at him. He looks north of 300 to me.
Yeah, he's got was it like 15 or 16-inch brows on him.
Oh man, yeah, heck yeah.
Experience the evolution of accuracy with the new Browning X-Bolt 2. Guys, this rifle is something else. With the introduction of the X-Bolt, Browning has set a new standard in the development of bolt-action rifles. It was created around the goal of total accuracy, where every component worked in unison to improve downrange performance straight out of the box, from windswept tundras to rocky peaks high above the tree line to African plains and everywhere in between. The X-Bolt delivered the tack-driving accuracy a Browning rifle is respected for. And that's super true, guys. I really like this rifle from a standpoint of, like, it's not super heavy, it's not super light. I put a really nice scope on it. I love that Veritech stock, because that is like one of those pieces of accuracy that, that interface between the rifle and the shooter. Not everybody's the same size. The DLX trigger, you can get the plus magazine system for extra rounds. Great all-around rifle in the field. For those of you that are looking for a rifle this year to take to the field that you can feel real confident in and get really comfortable with, this is the rifle to check out. The Browning X-Bolt 2 should be one of your top contenders. Link is in the show notes.
I've been geeking out with scoring, man. I had there's this app. I had him on the podcast a couple weeks ago called Horn Score.
Oh, how is that?
Oh, it's awesome. You'll get addicted to it though. It's like, I my buddies will text me their trail camera pictures. Hey, buddy. They'll text me their trail cam shots and whatnot, and I'll take them and I'll put them into the app and score them. You got to draw it out, and it's pretty accurate. I mean, I scored that 315 and 7/8. I scored him at like 313 and something in the app, and then when we put tape to him, he was 315 7/8. So cool. I mean, yeah, it works. So anyway, a shameless little plug just because I like it. They don't sponsor the show or anything, but
well, they should.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right?
But that's something I gotta say is the shot looked high on that bull, but it was actually perfect double lungs.
Yeah,
it was just the angle of it, how it went in, because it was so steep in there that when it came out perfect on the other side.
That's incredible, man. It's just. This is why I like you gave us a lot of detail on that hunt, and I think it's important. There's a lot of things to take away from that. Time of year, responding to cow calls early in September, bulls with a harem already, that early in September, and waiting them out because they don't talk much during the day when it's real hot, and waiting them out until that cooler air starts kicking, rolling in. In the later evening and whatnot, and getting them talking and, playing that wind and understanding that alder brush, man, it can be like the Great Wall of China. They just don't like to come through that, and so you just had And I'm curious what your take could be on this. I was explaining to one of my hunters that, like, you know, to kill a bull with a bow and arrow, you know, during September is it's like you're counting from 1 to 10, and you have to get to 10. But if you don't have a 6, or you don't have a 4, or you don't have the 9, you can't get to 10. And so all those things have to come together. You know what I mean? And like, that's what you just described to me. Everything kind of came together, and you knew how to get to 10 to get that bull down. And I don't know what would you say, like, you know, looking back at that hunt, or anything else that's happened in September for you thus far, you know, this year? Is there anything that surprised you from a standpoint, man, I thought I knew this about elk, but really they kind of disproved that theory, that old wives' tale, you know, elk don't do this, or they do that? Is there anything you could think of that comes to mind?
Yeah, I would say just keep like, just because you blow them out of there or something, go back. Like, we've had the same elk show up in a spot, even though it sounded like they may have ran out of the country. They make a big loop and come right back if that's their living area. Like, you know, that is their area. I mean, there is times they just flat out leave, but like this year, we actually had a couple really nice big bulls that were coming into wallows, and they had gotten bumped. And I mean, you could hear them crashing for, you know, hundreds of yards throughout the canyon.
Yeah.
And within a day and a half, they were standing back there again with cows from our cameras. So it's like, they follow the cows. You know, they do herd them around and push them, but they also are following cows and looking for where the cows are going. You know, new bulls are always coming in. New bulls are always looking for cows. Bulls are always looking for cows when it comes to it. And that's like, when I target early season elk for scouting, I target cows. I won't go target bulls.
Yeah.
Because if I find the cows, the bulls are going to come.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's like that for anything, you know. If you're mule deer hunting in November, or obviously whitetail, you know, look for those does, man, because the bucks will be right behind them. And that's what we're finding. All our like, I have this camera on this one particular wallow, and it's easy to check because it's not that far from the road. So every time I drive by it, I just run in there and check it. And it's like, you know, the cows come into the wallow, and within 5 to 10 minutes, there's going to be a bull behind them. And usually the cows will come in, they'll meander around, they'll get a drink, and then they'll move off, and the bull will come in, and he'll roll around in it. He'll sleep in it. And sometimes he's only there for a few seconds. Other times he's there for like 3 hours, you know, and, but it's always right after the cows. And man, he's just having a ball.
I hope he's not distracting you, Jim.
No, I think this is his first. What's his name?
Hunter.
Hunter, you're 5 years old, huh? Oh, he can't hear me with the headphones, huh?
Want to say hi to Jim?
Say hi.
Hi.
How's it going, Hunter? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
Good job, buddy.
His first podcast, man.
That's right.
I like to be the first. I like to be the first. So cool. Okay, I got one more question for you. I know I'm you know, I tell everybody about an hour, but
hey, I got all night.
Okay. And a lot of this is because I know you've done a lot of rifle elk hunting and a lot of guiding for rifle elk hunters. Let's transition and throw some of our rifle hunters some love and talk about some of the things that you know, are good strategic plans to make for, like, because it's so different than September hunting. You know, the way you locate them is different. The way that you approach them is different. The distance in which you can get them is obviously way different. You know, talk to us a little bit about when you're going into like these middle October rifle hunts. What kind of country are you looking for these elk in? are they in the same areas they're rutting, or are they in different areas? Walk us through what like you would do mid-October to go locate a bull.
So like mid-October when I'm going in there with clients or even for myself, I generally go target their transition areas because they have that transition area up here. It just depends on the time, like what the weather's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But like what I have found over all the years and been more successful, if I can target, because they have rutting grounds, they have spring and summer, which is their feeding grounds. Then they have rutting grounds, which they move from when they come out of their summer. They're still in their little bit bachelor herds. They go to their rub the velvet off, and then they start cruising looking for those cows wherever the cows are located. And then those are their rutting grounds. And then they go from the rutting grounds with the cows. Then they'll start transitioning into that transition period that I say from their rutting grounds to their wintering grounds because they know it's coming. It's just that they don't want to be stuck up there either.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
what I try to target is I try to target those locations where they're, like it'd be so basically it'd be like the higher ends of their winter grounds because that's where they'll be coming to. They're kind of like pre-staging up there before they drop down into their wintering grounds is where I start targeting the rifle elk more. And we've had a lot better success at that.
So would you say, like, is that more of like a mid-slope kind of thing? Because right now, it's hard to explain because right now I've got elk down here on my property, literally our little 15-acre slice of heaven, right? we've got elk coming through right here, and then I've also got bulls still talking way up at 5,800 feet. If I drive up this mountain behind me, and they're still up there. Now, obviously, they're not staying there.
No.
They're going to start moving down, and so I always kind of look at it like, that's like this. You've got the top where they're going to start getting snow in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
And then you've got kind of like this mid slope where it benches out and there's some smaller mountains transitioning down into the foothills. Is that what you're talking about? Like as far as like a transition spot?
Yeah, it's that you try to find like those saddles, those little benches down below where you're finding them now. Where there's still water and food sources, but it's just that next elevation down. Because if you think about it, most of the time when you're looking for like elk sheds in the springtime, you're looking in that 38, 30, just depends on the year. Sometimes it's lower, but like that 3,500 foot elevation to that 4,500 foot elevation where you'll find elk sheds most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think, okay, some of the elk are in that 55 plus in the higher elevation stuff, you want to start targeting like the edge of that range there and those more mellow ridges, those flat ridges and that stuff. So
Gotcha.
that's what I target. And then I start targeting more of like, south facing slopes where they know they're going to come out and feed. They're going to start looking for more grazing areas. I know old buddy of mine, one of the biggest bulls he shot was 366 up here. And
Wow.
he said he tracked that bull down from what he learned from his grandfather was some of them bulls, they'll actually find the mushrooms and eat them as they go.
Really?
And that's how we ended up finding that was it was eating some of the, I can't remember the type that they're called, but he just started seeing them shoot off and ended up following that bull out to where it came into an opening, and they came out in the opening at the same time, and that bull was standing there looking at him.
So like those mushrooms, those little white, brown side tree ones, or like, are you talking about chicken of the forest or chicken of the woods? Whatever they call that.
I can't remember which ones they are. They're like a smaller one on the ground. Like I've seen them too. Like I remember when he was telling me, and you'd see some full, and you'd see some that were like eaten off, and say, okay, that's what they're going after. But I can't remember what the heck they're called up to the right now for some reason. But
yeah,
I've seen them eat them too. And then just basically, looking for where the most food is this time of year in that transition period. I had a guy 2 years ago I guided for elk, and another good tip for rifle elk hunting is this was the late 25th through the 29th, so almost November. And we hiked way out 4.5 miles in, and wasn't much talking. I mean, I've got elk to bugle at us that time of year too, and play the rut game still. So it doesn't hurt to pack calls and throw it out there because you never know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we got out there. I knew there's going to be elk coming through there because it was one of those transition periods where it's more of a south-facing area, a good feed, not a lot of pressure because those elk don't like pressure that time of year. They like trying to find those pockets where people aren't going to be bothering them as much.
Mm-hmm.
Get out there, and we ended up splitting the herd. The bull ended up leaving from the cows, and the cows, it worked out perfect. He went below, cows went high. Everybody's dream scenario. I told the guys, like, we need to get out to the end of the road out here because it corners back into this area where we can see to shoot like 500 yards across the canyon and all around. Well, that bull is going to try to come back and meet up with the cows. So if we can get over there where those major trails come up, we'll just sit there and throw out some subtle cow calls. He's going to come up from below us somewheres and try to meet up with his cows that he just lost. Because they don't, he doesn't want to be alone. And not more than 15 minutes after we got out there, sat down, started cow calling. Here's a good tip. Don't be playing on your phone if you're with a guide when he's calling looking for elk for you.
That is a hot tip.
I'm sitting there cow calling, and all of a sudden I hear elk hooves running, and I look down the hill, and here comes this beautiful 5x6, probably 300, maybe just under 300 class range, comes running straight up to us, stops at 50 yards, standing there looking at us, and that was the bull looking for his cows. After we got out there, I threw out some cow calls, and here he come. And I just look at the guy, so bull, shoot. And he's sitting there with his phone in his hand, like, what? And I'm like, bull, shoot.
Oh, geez, man. Did he get him?
He pulled up, tried swinging, shot, and I think he grazed his neck because instead of coming down on his chest, he just did that swing maneuver and boom. And all you see is just hair flying. And I ended up tracking him down the mountain for 800-900 yards before he lost blood, couldn't find anymore. And by then, if he said, I was coming down when I touched it off, I was right close to his neck, not his body, his neck. I was like, well, if you would have hit him in the neck, he would have been done by now. So
sure. Yeah. He probably just gave him a little haircut and a little bee sting.
Yeah. But it's still, well, you know how it is up here, 5 days of hunting hard, whether you're guiding or for yourself. You get that one opportunity, you kind of got to try to make it capitalize it. So
that's the thing. It's really hard to not get complacent when you've been, like, even in September, this last, I had some Marine buddies that booked with the lodge. I got to guide them. And it was one of my funnest weeks. I haven't laughed that hard in I don't know how long. Yes, for those of you want to make Marine jokes, we cleared out all the crayons and all the stores around here and had a ball. But that's the thing. You can go 3-4 days and not hear a bugle and not see an elk and like, boom, it's like somebody hits a light switch. All of a sudden it's on. And it's hard to not get complacent and that's a big thing. It's almost like after a few days, you get to the point where you just don't expect to see an elk, and then when you do, it's like you're thrown off. And so you really got to be aware of that, because you can be bored out of your mind and all of a sudden it's just going to turn on a dime, and man, what a letdown. He wasn't ready for that sucker.
Oh man. And that's a great point you just made. It's up here where we hunt and live in, it's not exactly open to, I mean, there is some open areas you can see glass and do that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's pretty easy to get discouraged up here real quick, especially with clients. And, over 9 years of guiding, I've seen it happen real quick. I mean, within the first couple of days.
Yeah.
And it's like, just stay positive. They're here, you just got to keep after them. I mean, it's all you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Cause it does, it'll change just right like that. And all of a sudden you've got a bull elk standing there and you just got to be ready, don't get complacent. And I think that's a great tip. One last question about rifle. And this is one that's come up a few times in some when I'm doing like posts or whatever on the old Instagram. Which, by the way, guys, if you're not following me on Instagram, it's at the Western Huntsman. I'd appreciate the follow, and I'd appreciate the follow on the podcast. It really helps the show grow. I don't have like some kind of marketing plan or budget or anything. It's all, if you guys like an episode, if you wouldn't mind sharing it with your buddies and writing a good review for the show, all that kind of stuff, that really helps me personally. And I really appreciate that stuff. So I meant to pull up some of the recent reviews and like read them as a shout out, but I'm not ready to do that yet because I don't know. It takes me a while to find them. I'm not super techie. But anyway, I appreciate that. That was a side note. But anyway, one of the questions is, and I have an opinion on it, and I'll give you my opinion, and I want you to like give me your opinion. And even if it's way different than my opinion, don't worry, you're not going to hurt my feelings because I feel like you know better than I do. So wallows. I feel like by about the 10th or so of October, it's been raining. There's a lot of moisture. The wallows kind of become not super viable after that. Despite the fact that they will still come and visit a wallow periodically, but sitting on them for long periods of time, I feel like, after about the 10th of October, it's time to probably move on and try something else. That's my opinion. What do you say?
I'd say, based off the weather, if you got warmer weather, definitely sit them. I mean, if you can do it, it's really hard to just go sit, especially when there's elk in the area. The last 3 years, with the way our weather has been in October, with it being clear and dry and warm, my cameras that I've had out have been blowing up with elk still wallowing until October 27th.
Oh, wow.
And
yeah, see, that's why I'm asking, man.
And daily, like I thought the same thing, Jim, until it was 3 years ago when I went and checked one of my wallows close to where you hunt out there, and didn't hit it because I was like, it's October rifle. They're not going to come in. That whole month, they weren't in there much in September. That whole month, they were in there just hitting it hard.
Wow, really?
And I was like, well, I wish I would have checked it sooner. I mean, and really good bulls too, day after day, different bulls in, the same bull, and just back and forth.
That makes a lot of sense to me, though. It really does. I mean, if it is hot and dry, that is oftentimes that's their water source, and so yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I guess if it were hot and dry, that would totally change it. It has been the last few Octobers, hadn't it?
Yeah, it's been, compared to when I started rifle hunting when I was younger, when it was in the 20s. I mean, last year we had some 20-degree mornings, but it still hit 70s on those hillsides, like south-facing slopes.
Yeah.
It still hit up in the 70s, and they would be in there. It's just, I think it just depends on the year and the weather. So
cool. Well, good deal, man. I appreciate you coming on, dude. This was fun.
I'm glad we could finally link up, man.
I know we need to actually like have you on this regular. I told Steve Johnson this too. I want Steve on at like this regular rotation, and I always ask Jacob, and Jacob's always like, "Oh yeah, we'll work it." I don't think he likes coming on, man. I'm gonna have to give him a hard time or something. But I love getting Jacob on.
He gets a little talkative, shy, how he.
He's a little shy, but he's just got all this wisdom and information, like you and Steve, and like and are you guys are all kind of doing this Steve's podcast, Trap Hunt Fish, or Trap Fish Hunt,
THF podcast. Yeah, trap hunting and fishing. Yeah, we've been doing that. And then that's the podcast side of it. And then at Timber Cruiser Outdoors, we have a YouTube channel, which is where we've been posting all of our hunting videos, and our Instagram page for the highlights of the year throughout the year, what we've been like fishing or hunting wise or whatever we're doing.
Sure. So, what's the YouTube called again?
Timber Cruiser Outdoors.
That's where all the videos are?
Yeah, that's where I've posted. Been posting the last year's videos. I'm going to start uploading this year's here after elk season. Yeah, we're
Okay,
getting better. I'm new at it, so any
I am too, man.
Any input from anybody is much appreciated. We're just learning, good old
Timber Cruisers Outdoor. I found you.
Yeah.
Look at it. Man, you handsome devil. You look at this picture. Look at this video right here. Wow. Dude, you gotta take your shirt off in some of these.
Yeah, I don't think we
really
wanna
make
see
some
that,
money.
man.
Oh, you got a whole video of wallow building. I like that, man. That's another critical thing. We should actually can we jump on in I don't know, December-ish and talk about building wallows?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's a little untapped thing that people should know about to kind of dress those wallows up and make them a little more attractive.
There's times we pack, if we have to, depending on the year, because we've been having some gnarly winds, but we'll pack saws and Pulaskis in there a long way. So.
Oh yeah, build those things up, make them nice and deep. We'll talk. We'll jump back on, but I'm gonna put your YouTube channel here in the show notes so people could check some of these videos out. And that looks like Steve right there, and Jacob's probably in there, but being camera shy. Right?
oh yeah, he's there somewhere.
Yeah, cool, man. No, I appreciate it, man. Hey, sincerely, congratulations on a great bull, man. What a heck of a hunt. I appreciate you sharing all that stuff with everybody. We all appreciate hearing these stories. I'm going to, just for those of you listening, I am still looking, if you're listening to this and you manage to install an arrow and notch a tag on a bull this September 2025, hit me up. Hit me up at jim@thewesternhuntsman.com, because I can never remember my Eastman's email. Hold on. Or jim.huntsman@eastmans.com. Either email comes right to me. Send me an email. I'd be interested in getting you on and having you tell your story about you getting your bull down. I wanted to kick it off with Tyler because Tyler has a lot of experience in guiding experience, so he really understands how to tell these stories in a way that we get these little nuggets out of. And that's the point. I want to get these little knowledge nuggets out of for everybody. So hit me up if you guys want to ever consider being on a podcast and want to tell your story about elk hunting. I like when it's like everybody knows Tyler Oaks, and so I like when I find people that nobody's ever heard from and they get to come on the show and tell these stories. So anyway, cool, man. Well, hey, let's do this again. Let's do an episode about wallow building, and I wish you all the luck in the world on this mule deer. That tag. I hope you really take advantage of that tag. That's a great tag to have, and keep up all that good work you're doing out there, man. You guys are killing it.
I hope you get one too on yours.
Man, I'm going to Wyoming. I think hopefully I'll find a good one. Mule deer, but other than that, I don't have a lot of time to hunt for myself this year, man. So,
been there.
Yeah,
busy when you're guiding.
yeah. I kind of committed to too much of it this year, but it's fun. I enjoy it. Whatever.
Heck yeah, buddy.
All right, brother, man. Well, let's keep in touch, and we'll just talk soon.
Sounds good, man.
All right, we'll see you.
You made it! That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure you're following us on Instagram @TheWesternHuntsman and write us a good review at Apple Podcasts. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Stay Western, and I'll see you on the mountain.